In this episode, I'm sitting down with Melissa DiGianfilippo, the partner and president of PR at Serendipity Consulting, a full-service marketing, PR, digital, and creative firm that caters much of their work to the health and fitness niche. Melissa leads all of the firm's clients' public relations and communications, and in this episode, she's going to cover easy-to-implement strategies to get your business levels above your competition when it comes to PR. Growing a small business isn't easy, and to be successful, we know three things for sure. You have to work hard, you have to be bold, and you must constantly learn. We're gathering some of the best minds in the business world to share their ideas and strategies with you so you can grow your business easier, be more profitable, and have a lot more fun being a business owner. We're on a mission to connect the world of wellness, and this is the Mind, Body, Bold Show. Hello everybody, I'm Mike Arce and welcome back to another episode of The Bold Show. I am here with Melissa DiGianfilippo of Serendipity Consulting,
Hi.
An old friend of mine. I've known you for years, but you and I just had lunch and
We
you
did.
just delivered so many great strategies and ideas on PR and things that I never thought of, and I wanted to share it with everybody that's listening and watching today. So you ready to get bold?
I am ready to get bold.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get started, because I think PR, not everybody fully understands what PR is. And for everybody watching, for everybody listening, just so you know, this episode is going to be full of strategy after strategy after strategy that you'll be able to use and execute right away to be able to get great results at some of the best of the best you're doing on your own. All right.
I want you to know how to do it by yourself.
So stick through this all the way through the end because these strategies are, you don't really have to pay a lot for these with you. Okay, so let's talk about what PR is so we can get a full understanding and definition in your words here and also why brands could really need it.
Sure. So PR is a strategic communication process, connects brands to people in some way, shape, or form. PR is so beneficial to brands because it is really the most authentic way that you can tell your story. It's not an ad. People know that it's not paid for. It feels like it's real, true news. So when you're doing it right and you have the right mix of, marketing going on, PR is an awesome complement to anything else you're doing.
And we say real news. So let's say I'm the average hair salon or fitness studio or massage center, just an overall small business. How do I identify what news is worth saying, okay, maybe I should go to a journalist about this or a news station or something like that? And who do I go to? So let's talk about both of those. So how do I identify what's good news and then what do I do next with it?
Sure. So identifying your news, number one, is going to be anything that is a number, a new location, a revenue stat. The media loves that stuff. I'm going to call that like your business news. So for example, let's say you're opening, or you've been open, you own a fitness studio, you've been open for 12 months, you just found out you got your 400th member, you have $650K in annual revenue. That's a big deal for a single location business. Put out a press release, pitch the media on that. That's a business angle. So when you pitch that story, you're not pitching it to morning TV producers. You're pitching that to your local business journal writer or the daily newspaper, the business writer there. That's a business angle.
Now, the biggest organizations have no problem sharing their revenue numbers. In fact, it's public.
I mean, not always, actually. Some of the bigger organizations, yeah.
But smaller businesses, a lot of them may have reservations about sharing that. So what would you say to a business that's like, I don't know if I want to share that kind of stuff?
I mean, I would say if you have a great reason to not share it, we understand and we can find another angle for you, but don't be afraid to talk about your success. If you think, maybe what you're thinking is, my success isn't that big compared to someone else, I guarantee there's a billion people that your success is amazing to. So share it. Like $500,000 a year in revenue may not seem like a big deal to some people. It's a huge deal to a lot of people, and it legitimizes you.
So give me another case study. Let's say I have a hair salon. What's something that I'm like, okay, great. I see that. That's really good news. I think that's something I can take. So what's something like a hair salon could use?
Sure. So I'm going to look at trend stories for a hair salon. So You could position yourself or your stylist as an expert source on the top 3 summer hair trends for living on the beach, like things to keep your head out of your face. Right now, braids are super cool. Or the other thing is mermaid hair. It's like crazy. Google it, like #mermaid. It's all the buzz right now. If you can get your hair salon on local TV showing like how to get mermaid hair, you'll be the expert in that. And I guarantee you'll have a lot of highly expensive custom treatments that you'll be booking out, because that's expensive to do that treatment.
All right, awesome. So revenue numbers, cool trends, mermaid hair. What about you talk a lot about feel good stories?
Totally, the people stuff. So PR is all about obviously the business news, the trend stuff, and then human interest.
Okay.
So anything related to how did you impact someone's life? One of your customers maybe. How were you impacted? How did you change through this business? Or how did you decide to start this business? Those feel-good stories, which I know we all have somewhere inside of us, and sometimes they're a little scary to share, or they're scary to ask your customer who survived breast cancer, who has an amazing story. There's someone here locally who works out at Orange Theory Fitness, who is one of my clients. She is going through breast cancer, right now, in radiation. She's been working out every single day, and her doctor said to her, because you've been working out every single day, you've gotten through this so much better and so much easier than someone else who didn't. Do you know how badly I want to share that story? And all I have to do is ask. Right. She might say no, but that's a cool.
She might also want to do it because she knows that might inspire other people to do the same.
Totally.
I can't say I know what I would do because I'm not in that situation, but I feel like a part of me would say, you know what, that sounds pretty good. I want to help other people that may not have thought about doing this or may not have decided this is what they're going to do, to be able to kind of get through it like I did.
Exactly. So that's what we look for, is those human interest angles. Those sell. I mean, those are great stories.
Cool. So trends, big stints in growth or adding new locations, feel-good stories. Okay, so we got one of those things, maybe multiple. But now how do I say, great, what do I do with it? Where do I go next in order to make sure that it can get seen and heard by the right people?
So, I mean, a lot of PR people will hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. You don't need to subscribe to a special media database to get access to these media contacts. You can simply do a Google search. If you know your local media outlets that are important to you, in the LA Business Journal, let's say if you're in LA, you can Google search or go on the LA Business Journal website. You can see all the editorial staff, and you can pinpoint who is the person who writes about XYZ. And you pitch them. It has their email address right there. Granted, you need to be careful about how often you communicate with them and what you're sharing. There's some things that you could do as a business owner that will totally turn off the media. That would be, number one, to send them stuff that's super irrelevant to them. You're just mass pitching a billion people, and you're sending the food reporter a story about fitness tips. Not gonna fly. You'll get blacklisted.
Right.
Also, if you just repeatedly follow up over and over again, if you call them, most of them hate phone calls unless it's breaking news.
So email is the preferred?
Email is the preferred way for sure. Social media actually is interesting for pitching media.
Which platform?
Twitter's okay to pitch media publicly. You just want to be careful that you don't release what could be a really big story publicly to a reporter. They're going to feel well, everyone else saw this already. Now, it was big news, but now why would I cover it? So just be cautious. You can gauge interest, build a relationship with media through social media, and then I would recommend pitching them through email.
So now if I'm pitching them through email, you don't just write an email, right?
No.
So give me an idea as to what's a good example of a subject line? Because I think that's first thing first, you got to get them to open it. Because how many pitches do you think they're going to get today?
900. 900.
Okay, so give me an example of a really good subject line or a few. And then what should that email look like? What's the outline of that email?
Sure. So the first thing I want to say is pitch the media in the morning. I just read a study recently that 65% of journalists said that if they get news sent to them in the morning or a pitch in the morning, they're more likely to pay attention than the afternoon when they've already met their deadlines.
Any particular day, better or worse?
So we, at Serendipit, we typically like to pitch Monday through Thursday. Here, though, I want to have a caveat to that. If it's really important news, depending on the outlet, Friday mornings are okay too, because a lot of times the media is slowing down on Fridays. So you don't want to miss that opportunity. I would say no TV on Fridays, but print, if it's the right angle, could go on a Friday morning.
Okay. Got it. Subject line.
Subject line. Okay, so I'm going to give an example. We represent Modern Acupuncture. They're right now pretty much the fastest growing franchise in the U.S. Super exciting.
Very cool.
One clinic in Arizona, opening all over the nation, and we just pitched. We pitch, from Arizona. I'm pitching in every market for them. So just this week, I was pitching in Charlotte, North Carolina, and my subject line was Modern Acupuncture opens first location at insert the shopping center name, comma, plans, to create 100 jobs.
Okay.
So something like that is like the straight news.
And it's got to fit in the space.
It does, and so maybe there was a few words too long.
Is there a character space you typically like to stay within?
So I don't know the character count, but the cool thing about Gmail, if you use that, it'll actually show you when you type it where it's going to cut off when the person sees it.
Really?
So I usually try to stay within those restrictions and those limitations, but I try to make those words matter so much. Like they have to be impactful. So for a breaking news story like that, I'm going to put the news in the subject line. Like it has to be about the news.
Okay.
For maybe more of a trend story pitch, I'm going to pull out something really unique that's going to just make them think twice.
Okay.
So it could be, how to get the perfect butt. I mean, really, it could be. It could be, don't eat that donut.
Little things like that. That works.
Totally.
Because what do you think the average other person's using as subject line?
I mean, they're just basically putting too many characters, maybe trying to fit all their news into one subject line. It could be a variety of things.
Got it.
But I think that what is really important is what follows in the email after the subject line.
Okay.
So I usually start out with hi, and then I personally address the reporter. I like to start out by thanking them for a recent article they wrote, or at least recognizing that I know that what they're covering. I read a recent article, and then go into quick 2 to 3 paragraphs max that story, the meat and potatoes of that story.
So bullet points?
Bullet points are great to list out visuals if it's TV, but if you can condense into 1 or 2 paragraphs, Modern Acupuncture is opening 14 locations in Charlotte. The first one slated to open in August. Construction starts this month. It's 1,000 square feet. Local business owner, and then here's the visuals I can offer. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. And then always let them know how they can reach you, the fact that you're available after hours. You can do early morning interviews, weekend interviews. You want to give them your cell phone number, because if hopefully your pitch is amazing, but if they have a slow news day, they may call you because you said you're available on the weekends.
What's follow-up look like? Should you follow up if, let's say, you don't hear back in a day or two on that story?
Yes, I usually wait. It depends on how critical the news is. So if it's just traditional news and you're pitching a lot of people at one time, maybe follow up after 3 business days, 2 to 3 business days. And it's an email follow-up. I usually do it in a response to my first email. I don't like saying, I'm just following up on this. I like to offer one more tidbit of information. So keep something back.
So that subject line, would you just reply to it so it says RE?
Yes. If it was a really solid subject line. If I figured out, if one of my team members pitched something and it wasn't getting any bites on the first round, and I look back at the line and I'm like,
that might
could be stronger, we will change that subject line then. But hopefully it's really strong.
How many times would you follow up on a story?
3 times.
3 times.
So the first pitch and then 2 follow-ups. If it's breaking news, I will call. Or if it's something that I've offered them an exclusive. So I just want to talk about that real quick, if that's
what's
okay.
That?
So if you have a big piece of news and I have identified this outlet, if they covered it, it would be awesome. I need them to cover it. Offer them the exclusive story first. So you can even put in the subject line exclusive, boom, whatever the story is. Then put in the first paragraph, hey, Jenny, I am sending this to you first in hopes that you might want to cover it as an exclusive. Please let me know by noon today before I pitch anyone else.
Wow, so create a little urgency to it.
Totally. And then I've called them if it's a big deal. If I know that this person's going to want to cover the story, that takes a little bit of, understanding what really is breaking news and what's not. I'll call them and say, hey, Jenny, I just want to make sure I just sent you this. I'm offering you the exclusive. I know you're busy right now. Would you mind just replying to my email?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about, because I think a lot of people that may give this a shot may not have great expectations for success rate on these pitches. So let's say they throw out 10 different pitches. What's a success rate? Like, what can they say? This was a good round of pitches.
I mean, it varies so much. Like for me, for my team,
I'm sure it depends on the story.
Yeah, it depends on the story. I mean, for my team, I would love to see a 50 or 60%.
So you fail about half the time.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Sometimes
And that's
more.
it. You guys have relationships with people in the media already. They know your name when they see it come up in the email.
Totally.
And
Sometimes, but I don't believe PR. This is why I think anyone out there can do PR for themselves to an extent, because I don't believe PR is about relationships. I believe it's about knowing what's a good story, how to tell that story, and how to find the exact right person to tell that story to.
Okay.
Anyone can do those three things.
Okay.
You know?
And so if let's say I decided I have a small business and I want to go ahead and start doing this stuff myself based on what I've learned from you today and what I'm going to continue learning over the rest of this episode here, if I get 2 out of 10, let's say I pitch 10 times and I get...
Great.
That's great.
That's
okay.
amazing. If you get 1 out of 10, go jump up and down, ring your gong, whatever you have in your office. Like, that's exciting. One story can elevate you so much. I mean, we got one amazing story in Franchise Times for Modern Acupuncture about their franchise and where they're going to be, and it blew up for them. One single story.
Good.
Totally
okay.
blew up.
So definitely understand 90% failure rate's fine, because the success you can get from just one can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And then the great thing is you build relationships with that person that picked it up. So can we talk a little bit about that? Let's say that 1 out of 10, let's call her Cheryl.
Okay.
Cheryl says, I love this story, Mike, and I want to go ahead and use it. Let's go ahead and get started. What can I do in order to strengthen my relationship with Cheryl or increase my likelihood of maybe getting to work with her again on something else?
Great question. So first thing is make it easy for her.
Okay.
Be accessible, get her stuff. Like, I mean, I respond to reporters, like my phone's right there. I respond in 5 minutes.
Really?
Always. Like, make it easy. If you're sending them photos, always send them high resolution photos. Like, don't mess around. Like, put it in a Dropbox, send them a link, or send them one file at a time. Make sure they're awesome photos, they're high res.
Okay.
But make interviews easy for them. Make sure your interviewee, whether it's you or someone else, is prepped on the topic, that they're a great interview. Okay. So the second thing to do is to reshare, like, as much as you can, that link when it comes out.
Okay.
Share it. Go to that like news site. Hit Facebook share, Twitter share, everything you can from that link. It makes them look good.
Okay.
It makes them look really good. And then the third thing is say thank you after the story runs. So an email thank you, and then I send handwritten thank you cards.
Okay.
And my team still does that every single day for the media that they work with day in, day out. Like, we send thank you cards.
Now, it seems like a lot of work, but really, how long does it take?
Oh, like 5 seconds.
And what's the impact? Especially when you think about the time it would put to get this relationship going again.
I mean, it's worth it all day, every day. And,
Awesome.
and the reporters keep those thank you cards. I have emails that my team has shared with me that they've printed out and they hang on their desk saying, "You were a dream to work with, Sabrina. You're amazing." Like,
right. That's awesome.
And then we keep getting, great stories out of them.
Great. So I know you talk a lot about the real power of PR coverage and it not necessarily being in the moment the story runs. So talk to me about where the real power is.
It's great when you get a local morning news segment on like your local Fox affiliate or ABC, but the stay-at-home mom at 9 a.m. watching that in the moment may not be your demographic.
Okay.
So but it's still an awesome story. So you want to make sure you reshare that one story as much as you can. Like, put it on your website, put it on your YouTube channel, share it on Facebook.
The clip of that segment, right?
Yes.
And you can get that from that.
You can buy those. We use a media distribution company.
Okay.
The station usually won't give it to you, but the $100 it costs is worth it all day long
Sure,
for that content.
sure.
So put it on YouTube, share it on your Facebook, put it on Twitter, pin it on Pinterest, put it on Instagram, put a little clip, like put it everywhere. Blog about it with a little short summary, put it in your email newsletter, use it as much as you can, because the more that you, and then even on Facebook, put a little money behind it as an ad to target the right people.
Okay.
The more that you reshare that to the right people, the more impact it's going to have.
Okay. So to have something tangible to work on, what are a few things that business owners can do and get started on right now that, that can help them get media coverage for themselves?
Sure. The first thing I would say is to know their story. So
Okay.
sit down, get a giant Post-it note out, brainstorm with your team all the cool angles about your brand, about your company, about you, whatever it is that you're focused on. There's a lot of them there, and they may not be top of mind for you as the owner, but if you get a team of people in there brainstorming, they'll come out.
Okay.
So know your story, and then start crafting a few pitch angles.
Okay.
Like, how would you sell this story to the media? How would you sell this one angle? Just do a couple drafts. Number 2 would be to practice being an awesome interview.
Okay.
So get media trained if you can. Otherwise, just go in the mirror, practice, videotape yourself, understand how to get your key messages in all the time, kind of understand your facial expressions.
Well, the thing is, the best professionals, the best athletes do this. Right after a game, first thing they do is they watch tape of what the game looked like from the outside perspective, because they can find their little mistakes, and they know it's just a little tweak here, a little tweak there can make a big difference in the game. The best salespeople record themselves, and I know the greatest salespeople listen to their own pitches in the car of their best sales pitches to hear, like, man, I let him off the hook there, or I talked too much there, or oh, he was showing pain there and I didn't capitalize on it. And so I think watching yourself is, I mean, it's painful.
It's so painful. It can be heart-wrenching to watch
the
yourself.
more painful, the better, because I won't change if it didn't hurt enough.
Oh, totally. I sit in a room with clients after their first 2 TV interviews, and we put it on the screen, and I pause. But
and they already know. They're probably like this.
They know, or sometimes they don't, and they think it was amazing. And you want your clients, or you want yourself to get better, so you have to say, that was really awkward. You could have done better. You looked fidgety when you looked away, and so you keep working on those things. Your first couple are going to suck.
Okay.
Like, they're not going to be great, and then they're going to get so much better.
Okay.
And then the third thing is just to find media contacts. Start small. Like, pick your 2 daily papers, or your top 2 favorite news stations in your market, or top 2 trade publications in your industry. Find the best contacts and just pitch them.
Okay. One question I was really wanting to ask you, because you talked a lot about this with me before, is the other elements to PR besides just media relationships, which is what we've really been talking about. But the other elements that could be really instrumental to the overall success of the brand, and what else a company can do within the realm of PR to elevate an image.
So the first thing I think you've done for yourself is awards and nominations. So whether it's locally or in your industry, think about and do some research on all of those awards and rankings that come out. Make a list, make an Excel spreadsheet of all of them, the dates they're due, what kind of information they need, and figure out what makes sense for you to go after. Best places to work.
Right.
That's a great one. If you're looking to attract the best people to work for you, you want to promote the heck out of that, right? It could be most admired leaders. It could be an industry award. It could be if you're a fitness trainer, it could be best fitness trainer. I know there's like local lifestyle magazines that do that where it's a voting element. Make sure you understand all that goes into those awards, and they're so powerful. So when you do win those awards, and it'll take a couple times for you to get your story straight and be powerful enough to win them, you can repurpose that content and reshare the fact that you're an award-winning X.
Right.
It's awesome.
Okay.
And then the second thing would be speaking engagements. So it's scary to put yourself out there, just like it's scary to go on TV and do an interview. But if you can hone your message, go to conferences, go to trade shows, go places where your customers or potential, clients or partners or employees would be, and go speak on something you're passionate about, it will be so powerful. So PR, that's typically a tactic of PR.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, a lot of the stuff we talked, in fact, probably all of the stuff we talked about, people can do without hiring a PR agency. Obviously, hiring a PR agency can kind of like push the fast forward button and kind of get you through all the little mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, just like everything, right?
Yes.
You can learn how to get in shape. You can learn how to do all the things that are out there for fitness, but you're not going to get there as fast if you had a personal trainer saying, for you, don't do that, do this instead, right? So let's talk about first, how do I know if I should hire a PR agency? Like if right now this is the right time for me, or if I should start doing it myself based on where I'm at in my business.
I think you need to evaluate, where you are today. So are you still working so much in the business that you still need to focus so much in the business? You're looking to grow, you're looking to find the right people. you probably don't have a lot of time to do PR for yourself.
So like if you're still dealing with customers yourself,
exactly.
if you're still training employees yourself.
Yeah, you can't step away realistically and have your business run and do something else.
Sure.
PR is that something else. I mean, it's not super easy. It is time consuming. So if you are still in the business, I would say hire someone.
Okay.
And even if you're so above the business and you have the funds, I would say hire someone.
Right.
If you're to a point maybe where you're just starting out, you have some good people on your team, you think you have the time and the energy, I think it's okay to try PR for yourself. It's definitely possible. Like I just gave some great tips on easy ways for you to find media contacts, for you to just pitch them, for you to follow up with them. It's possible. It doesn't take a genius to do it, but it is time consuming.
It's like anything else. You can create a video yourself. It's going to take more time. It's probably not going to come out as good, but it's better than not doing a video at all.
Absolutely.
And the PR stuff, guys, all this stuff is something you can do. It may not be as good as if someone like Melissa does it or a PR person that obviously proven themselves in that industry, but it's better than not doing it. Because this is so big, and Bill Gates. What was that famous phrase Bill Gates said?
Yeah, if he had $1 left, essentially, he would spend his last dollar on PR.
Think about that,
yeah,
right?
No, it's true. It is the most authentic way to tell your story. And it's truly, customers will believe a news article so much more than they'll believe an ad.
So, guys, for all of you guys that watch this episode or listened in, I really hope that you took a lot of notes and also set some goal dates as to, okay, I'm going to start working on this, I'm going to start working on that, because I really, really wanted to have Melissa on because I truly believe in PR that much and I can see what it does. And it really helps improve everything else. If you have digital ads running to bring people in, the people that run digital ads that do great PR versus the people that run the same types of digital ads in the same place that don't have good PR, don't do as well because these ads are 100% cold.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
these PR is brand awareness. I mean, it's gonna automatically, like you just said, warm up your audience. They're gonna know, they're gonna have heard about you. It's that other factor that's gonna make those, ads run so much more effectively.
The familiarity alone creates that comfort, and it makes me want to think about it this way. If you went to an expo, some trade show, and you saw two different booths, two companies that did the same thing. Let's say it was web design. Doesn't matter what it is, right? And this company here, you've seen and heard their logo before. You don't necessarily know how or where, but you just remember you've seen it before and you didn't get a bad feeling. It was a good feeling from it. This one here is totally cold. Which one would you walk up to first?
I mean, definitely the one that I would be familiar with, that I would have seen.
And even though you don't know anything about what they do or how they do it, you've seen the logo and it's an easy icebreaker. I've seen you guys before. Right? And the same thing with everything, guys. You're running digital ads, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, you're doing SEO, maybe you have salespeople cold calling or whatever it is. You have a sign in front of your store for people that walk by the shopping center. All those things are going to convert at a much higher rate and with much easier, with much greater ease if the person that's seeing that is more familiar with your brand. So PR helps that. Hope you guys got a lot out of this interview with Melissa. She knows her stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to boldshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.